The Eastern Kentucky region certainly has had to battle many social and economic obstacles during the years.
One problem may very well be the stereotypes that are often placed on the Appalachian region. Let's go to Deanne Stevens with a look back on one instance in particular.
Tony and Julie, the instance you may be referring to was a network broadcast by our own affiliate, CBS, a program that generated controversy and is still talked about today in this area, and one which placed WYMT-TV in a very unique situation.
I invite you to watch this program closely, but we also invite you to stay tuned because immediately after this program, coming up at 9 o'clock, we will have a program of our own. We've invited citizens to view this program as you watch it, and we'll get their response coming up at 9 o'clock. So stay with us. And then we'll go to,
As Tony Turner set the stage for our viewers to join WYMT after viewing the documentary, he reminded them they would have the chance to take place in a live response to the show. The rest of the country looked on as 48 Hours chose one small section of the mountains to represent the rest of the region. It may have been the first time for viewers in Eastern Kentucky to actually respond to years of negative images.
Back in the hills of Floyd County, Kentucky, you'll find some of the poorest places in America.
One time, a long time ago, when some people come up in here, they said that it was real muddy. You know, where animals had tore their insides out. Said, and they just called it Medicat. Named it Medicat.
For children living in the dead end of a holler, education is the only way out.
You ought to just try living in this little holler for a while. It's the best place to live. You ought to just try living up here.
Reaction to the pictures and description of this part of Eastern Kentucky was swift. The people upset not of what was said, but maybe what wasn't said and shown. Many felt betrayed by the network and believed the region was being stereotyped again.
During the war on poverty in the 60s, the federal government spent more than $3 billion to build highways connecting the Appalachian Hills to the rest of America. But a University of Kentucky study found that many residents can't even afford the gas it would take to get away. The road out of holler country was paved with good intentions, but like a lot of things in the hills, it didn't change much. I'm Dan Rather. That's 48 Hours for this week.
As the show concluded, the emotions spilled over. Local and state leaders reacted with anger.
The images were the typical stereotype, negative images that we have seen for 20, 30, 40, 50 years in news magazines across the country. So I guess I'm struck with the differences between the words, which seemed positive. People were happy. It's a different kind of happiness. And then the images, which were very powerful, but very stereotypical.
This is a 57 Mountain News special report, a response from some Eastern Kentuckians.
It would be the same reaction that New Yorkers would have if WYMT went to New York and did a special on homelessness and drug abuse and crime and traffic congestion and the slums of New York, and never said anything about Carnegie Hall or Central Park or the Metropolitan Museum of Art or the Statue of Liberty or the beautiful parts of the city.
Citizens and governors alike express their frustrations about the content of 48 Hours, saying the portrayal of Muddy Gut was a narrow view, not inclusive of the way life really is here in Eastern Kentucky. Since WYMT represents the mountain people, station management believed that it was the station's responsibility to offer more balance to the story.
I don't know if it was the first time, but there were others that indicated such, and certainly that gave us a lot of pride to be the vehicle that allowed that.
This station in the last 10 years has allowed us to know ourselves, to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, we see the good side and we see the warts, but it's at least a side that we help produce ourselves. And I think that's really the tremendous value that YMT has for this region. And we saw it on that night. We had actual opportunity in this region people born here or who were living here who had an hour to talk about a show that was produced by somebody else. And we had just as much time as Dan Rather did. In fact, we had more time. That was exciting.